entertainment purposes only, not to be taken as legal advice. Welcome back, everybody. It's Thursday. Oh, Thursday came really fast, and it's blasting through the week. I'm really excited to talk about today's topic of conversation because we're continuing on for what we discussed on Tuesday, which was super powerful. We were comparing Patrick Devine and his final process on the Cystic KV Trust and comparing it to the updated model of what we have here at Creditor Academy. I'm here to put the puzzle pieces together. That Tuesday video went super viral, and so I'm here to continue on to it and kind of share with you the Foreign Grantor Trust, how Patrick Devine utilized that, not only with his private identification, but how it ties in to the greater aspects of the birth certificate in commerce and the UCC. So without further ado, let me go ahead and just do quick updates. Welcome to Creditor Academy. My name is Paul Michael Rowland. Super excited because we're only less than a month away from hitting our 1-year anniversary. Wow, it's coming up fast. 1 year, just less than a month away. We have the Academy. It's up and running. We want to thank all the new members that have joined the Academy, growing quite rapidly each and every day. And I want to say that the development of our Academy is only maybe a week and a half away as well, as it comes to the back end of it. As many of you know, we invested a large amount of capital into a LMS software platform, the best in the world, to give you the most comprehensive learning experience and also online campus life that you can enjoy. Community is so important, and we want to broaden our community and communication with one another because, you know, information is better when it's shared with others. So if you'd like to join us at Creditor Academy, you can first hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel if you're not subscribed yet, and you can go to creditoracademy.com and fill out the Contact Us form or reach our hotline number. That's Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you'd like to learn about how to enroll into the Academy. All right, so getting to today's topic of conversation, we have a lot to cover today, which is to kind of go into the Cystic KV Trust and how the Foreign Grantor Trust is associated with it. I'm going to do a quick recap for those of you who are trying to remember. It seems like Tuesday so long ago. But I want to talk about the Cystic KV Trust, build upon it, give you a high level, and then we can get into today's lesson. The Cystic KV Trust account is the trust that was set up for you at the time of the straw man's creation. This is the birth certificate, right? Remember this, the birth certificate, it's your legal fiction. It's the paper form of you. Your birth certificate is the all caps name entity. Your straw man is a business corporation created by the state you were born in with the same name, but in all caps, so that you can enter their system or game. Just like Monopoly, you're entering in, you're sitting at the board game, but you can stand up and leave at any time. But only dead entities can communicate with other dead entities. This is the dead version of you, your birth certificate. Therefore, they created the dead paper version of you and had your parents sign you over, meaning registration, to the state so they can use our credits, beginning our financial servitude or slavery. So the trust was set up under this birth certificate on the straw man, and it holds all of your credits. You do not own this trust account, but you are the rightful beneficiary. Therefore, the trustees are supposed to act on our behalf in our best interest. Who are the trustees of the Cystic KV Trust account? It is the government, the federal government. And do they have our best interests at heart? No. The only person that has your best interests is you. It's true. It's the only one. This is why all of our bills and taxes are supposed to be handled for us, as we have the full faith and credit to pay for everything. We went over Sister K. This is the phrase derived from the medieval England, adopted by French law. Sister K trust can be translated as he for who the benefit of the trust was created. The term is antiquated word used to describe the beneficiary of a trust. And what is a beneficiary? It is a person whose benefit trust property is held by another, the trustee. So I want to give you guys a visual reference of this. We're going through it. So if you were to look at how a trust is created, you have the guarantor, the creator, who establishes and brings into existence the trust. The grantor or the creator of your Sister KV trust is mama. It's always mama. She's the one that registered you over to the state and brought into existence the Sister KV trust. This trust was then assigned trustees, and this is where the government is. You are the beneficiary of this trust, but you do not have control or ownership of it, and that's what you need to have. So what we are doing is what we discussed on Tuesday is we are replacing the Sister KV trust with what Patrick Devine called establishing a UCC contract trust. This is a private trust that you control. The guarantor of this trust, who is the person by whom the grant is made, is going to be you. In this new UCC contract trust, the grantor is going to be you. So you're going to be at the top. Once again, you're the creator of this new entity. Who's going to be in charge of all the unlimited credits of this new trust entity? It's also going to be you. When I say you, I don't mean the straw man. I actually mean you, the living. The living has absolute dominion and control. Now, the beneficiary, the one who benefits from the act of another, that needs to be a separate entity, okay? You will break the corporate veil of a trust and make an imperfected trust if you try to hold all three positions. So you need another entity to fill in the beneficial role because you're already taking up the grantor and the trustee position. So the beneficiary, the entity that you do control and that you can put there is the birth certificate. Remember, it's the paper version of you. It's a corporation. It's a business entity. And again, you're the beneficial owner of that. You're having control, okay? So all of this is done through what we call the SPC. You know, Patrick Devine called it establishing a UCC contract trust. I like to still use that term because I really like that it kind of talks about a trust account taking over. But the modern version of it is called the SPC process. So in the Creditor Academy, we have the 4 classes. We have freshman class, okay? Freshman master class, where I kind of just give you guys the basics. I give you the basics of the academy. Like when I was first going to different organizations and gurus, when I first started my journey in this truth movement, you know, I didn't like that I was kind of given a presentation piece of what the YouTube gurus were saying, and they had over like 200 or 300 videos. I mean, that's kind of the same for Creditor Academy right now, right? And I don't want to watch every single one of those videos. What I want to know is, what is your program about? What is the end goal? Like, what is the end results of your program? And how long does it take me to get there? And what are the steps that you're going to be leading me down for my success? That's what Freshman Masterclass is. You learn about the academy by just becoming a member. You get to come to daily classes. They're Monday through Friday. And you will have access, you know, when it's ready, to the LMS system in the back end. It's going to be ready very soon. And you get to ask me questions not only about the academy, but also just learn the basics. What's the difference between public and private? What are the legal maxims? What did Patrick Devine mean with this? How is you and Patrick Devine different? Are you teaching the same things? Are there differences? And so on. So I'm touching on that a little bit today. But anyways, on the third part of your UCC contract trust that you're replacing the Sister KV trust with, the third position of a beneficiary is covered by this business corporation that has your name on it. You have control over it. Okay. So that is important. So now that trust is all put together, now we can start looking at the bigger picture, okay, which is a trust itself. So there's 9 aspects of a UBOT. What is a UBOT? It's an unincorporated business organization trust, okay? A business trust, okay? I'm not going to read all 9 aspects. I just want you to kind of get your mind around this about what a business trust is. A UBOT, look at number 2. A UBOT is a legal entity and an artificial individual with rights almost equal to a natural person, a human being, able to own property and conduct business like a natural person. It is irrevocable and no one has any revisionary rights to its assets. So a lot of people are asking, well, Paul Michael, if I'm the grantor, the living, and I'm the trustee, the living, and the beneficiary is the birth certificate at the bottom, does that mean me, the living, is it represented through this trust? And the answer is no. It's its own entity. It's its own entity. It's separate from you. Okay. So what we do is we bring this trust into existence not only by getting it notarized, but the second thing is we needed to get it federal recognition. Okay. And this is kind of digs into the topic that we're going to be talking about today. In order to get federal recognition for one of your private trusts, you need a EIN number. That's it. You need an EIN number. EIN number gives you the federal recognition for this. Now, the question became, okay, Paul Michael, well, I understand getting an EIN number, but what type of EIN number do I need to get? What do you say? What does Patrick Devine say? And can we break this down a little bit? And that's what we're here to talk about today. The Foreign Grantor Trust EIN number and why Patrick Devine needed one. But first, before we dive into it, let's go ahead and break down what this term even means, okay? According to Black's Law Dictionary definition, a grantor trust is a trust in which the grantor retains certain rights or powers that bring the trust income back to the grantor for tax purposes. In a grantor trust, the grantor is typically responsible for paying the income taxes on income generated by the trust, even if the income is not actually distributed to the grantor. This arrangement allows the grantor to retain some control over the assets placed in the trust while still benefiting from any income generated by those assets. So it's like a sole proprietorship. I like to say it's like a sole proprietorship. All of the income responsibilities is extended over to the grantor. Okay, this is represented on our 1041 tax return. I showed this last time. There are 3 different tax classifications for trusts. There's a simple trust, a complex trust, and a grantor type trust. You are utilizing a grantor type trust. Why is this important? Because Patrick Devine was choosing the entity type of responsibility. It was the living. The living is exempt from these tax obligations and has authority to even discharge those tax obligations. And we'll go a little bit deeper in that in a moment. But to go further into this is what we need to define what foreign means. Foreign, as you would guess, is relating to or connected with another nation or jurisdiction outside one's own jurisdiction. And this reference is the United States. And a grantor, in legal terms, is someone who creates a trust. We are creating the trust. We're establishing a UCC contract trust. So we are the person whom a grant or a transfer of property is being made. The grantor is also referred to as a trustor or a settlor. So what are we transferring? What type of property? Well, it's our unlimited credits. It's all of our control over our estate that was created through the straw man. And what is a trust? It's an equitable or beneficial right or title to land or other property held for the beneficiary by another person, in whom resides the legal title or ownership recognized and enforced by the courts of chancery, or even the courts of equity is another way of saying it. So we just went over this in the brief example with the picture I just showed. It's a property interest held by one person, which is a trustee, which is you in the new trust structure, at the request of another, the grantor, which is you in the new trust structure, for the benefit of a third party beneficiary, which is now your enlegis. It's your corporate fiction that you now also control. You have an equitable obligation that's expressed or implied inside this trust arrangement. Okay, do we break that down well enough? Were you just like, oh my God, that was so much. That was a lot. I totally get it. But these are just breaking down the terms. I'm going to explain it a little bit. I'm going to do high level. What you guys don't need is all to memorize this. Let it go in one ear and out the other. Just listen to me on the high level of what I'm trying to say. Okay, so let me stop there and let me go to this. 1 second. Okay. All right. So here is an SS4 form. Okay. So to apply for it. Now, what did Patrick do? Patrick did a Patrick Devine FGT. Why did he want a foreign grantor trust? We're going to make some relations here. Amazing. And there was that. Okay, let me thank you for your patience on that while I adjust. I know it's the weather. It's the weather, exactly. So what it is the the Foreign Grantor Trust. The methodology for the Foreign Grantor Trust was established due to the current system of the United States, the Federal Reserve. In 1913, as you've heard the story goes, the Federal Reserve banking system came into our country, and it was firmly established in 1933, and which we went off the gold and silver standard, and now we have all this paper money and debt. We want debt money in order to operate in commerce, credits. So we're not the only country that signed the deal for this foreign banking cartel. A lot of Europe did, Canada did, and other parts of, actually even I believe Mexico did as well. This is why when you accumulate debt in your country and then you try to go to another country, the debt follows you no matter where that you go. Banking cartel is all around the world. Then these are called Hague Convention countries. Hague convention countries. So what that has done, there we go. So what that has done is these Hague Convention countries is they all agreed to participate into the banking cartel rules, laws, and regulations and their credit debt system. But not all countries did. Not all countries did. They're like, nah, I don't want to go be a part of the banking cartel. No, thank you. We want our own monetary system and we want to be left alone. Taiwan is a great example. Belize, the island of St. Kitts, the Cayman Islands, and so many more. So what Patrick Devine did is he established a country of origin that was outside of the banking cartel, which was located in one of these non-Hague Convention countries. And he established himself there, and then he applied that EIN number to the trust to show that it's outside of the banking cartel's jurisdiction. You know what else is unique about that? You know what else is outside the banking cartel's jurisdiction? The Constitution, the U.S. Republic. The amendments, our Bill of Rights, is foreign to this banking cartel. It's repugnant to it. Remember, they will only make tender of gold and silver. You know, our founding fathers already knew that this is what they would want to do, is develop a debt system like they did in Britain when we, escaped that and developed ourselves as a new nation. So, but you got to imagine, so to give you guys kind of an example like this, it's, I want you to think of it like Costco. You know, I'm in an area where we have the establishment of Costco. Costco is where you work, where you live. Imagine Costco's your life. You're inside of this matrix, man. And every day, your managers, administrators, and the owners change the rules to the Costco however they want. And you, as the employee of US Inc., US Incorporated, have to follow the rules. If the owner says, we're going to raise the hot dog price from $1.50 to $2.50, there's nothing you could do about it, which would be a tragedy, right? I think we have more political event around that than a lot of other things we should care about. So now you're inside of that, right? So you need to exit the Costco. Everybody's in the Costco. Everybody's got their role on what they're supposed to do, but you can leave at any time. So think of like your current job. If you want to leave a job, what do you got to do? You got to give your 2-week written notice. You got to write that, hey, I want to leave this environment. I want to leave the U.S. Incorporation, right? And how do you do that? That you do it through your SPC and your status correction. That is your notice that you're leaving. Okay. Then when you go outside of the Costco, you're now in foreign territory, right? And now you have to go. You can't just leave the Costco and be in no man's land. That's the thing. If you want to be in America, you have to give your allegiance to somebody. There's no such thing as living in an environment. It would be like being like a man without a country, right? You just moved into somebody's other countries. There's laws, rules, and regulations don't apply to you because you don't have citizenship and you're on the run. You're a man without a country, right? So you can't be a man without a country, even if you leave the Costco. You have to join another organization. You need a job. How many times do I say that? You need a job. So what organization do you go to? You go to the U.S. Republic, the United States Republic. The United States Republic that was started by our founding fathers. You know, in order for you to establish a UCC contract trust or a business trust, what do you need to establish a trust? Can anybody tell me?
Declarations?
That's it. you need a declaration of trust to establish a trust. The trust that the founding fathers used was the Declaration of Independence. That's how they established the trust. It's irrevocable, meaning they cannot be changed. They are the grantors of the Declaration of Trust, all the founding fathers, for whose benefit is we the people. It's a trust. You have to bring yourself into that trust by doing just one thing. You need to pledge allegiance to that trust. You need to contract with that trust. You need to invoke the laws of the republic to be in that trust. That's why when you're born, man, they get you to immediately contract away from that trust, because as soon as you're in, they can't take you out. It's way harder. And that's why they start you off with the birth certificate. And for those of you who are foreign coming to the United States, they immediately try to naturalize you with their naturalization certificate. You're giving allegiance to the USA Incorporation, just like we were contracting ourselves into the USA Corporation. But status correction brings you back into the United States Republic Trust, where you belong. So it is foreign. The United States Republic is foreign to the banking cartel and the United States Incorporation, and it's not a part of it. This is why a foreign EIN is applied. The U.S. Republic is foreign to this jurisdiction, okay? So, going even further is what Patrick Devine did, was talking about with Article 4. Article 4, okay? Who can tell me the three branches of government? The three branches of government.
Executive, legislative, and judicial.
That's it. Those are the three. The executive, the legislative, and the judicial. What is the fourth branch of government? What Patrick Devine says is the Article 4, we the people. We the people are the fourth branch of government. And we have duties and powers and responsibilities that are to not only protect ourselves, but also our community. Now we're getting into the bounty hunter, the private attorney general, and the executive officer. Okay. A lot of you are like, what the? Huh? I don't get it. What you talking about? You're really jumping around, Paul Michael. Now I'll show you. I'll show you. Okay. So Patrick Devine was showing this. He had a public proof of law identification document. Many of you have seen this before. Many of you use it. You know, we provide it here at Creditor Academy. But this is the state of Iowa. This is Patrick Devine's. This is just a little modern version of it. It's registered mail. And it says, we the people and American public citizens. Under Article 4, the citizens of each state shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of citizens in several states. Okay? And the immunity means you are not to be forced into a contract. Mr. Patrick Devine, signed, sealed, and all that. And the highest usage. So, as in Article 4, we the people, like I said, we have laws that we can utilize under our Article 4 status that is not only for our benefit, but also for the benefit of our communities. I'm going to show you one example. I'll show you one example. is this one. The RICO laws, aka the Racketeering Act. It establishes you as a private attorney general authority. Both statutes, RICO and Clayton, bring to bear the pressure of private attorney general on a serious national problem for which the public prosecutorial resources are deemed inadequate. What that means is there's not enough government workers, so it's calling on the people, we the people, the Article 4, in order to support the mechanism chosen to reach the objective in both Clayton Act and the RICO. Okay, what is going on? What's going on? Well, the object of civil RICO is thus not merely to compensate victims, but to turn them into prosecutors, private attorney generals, dedicated to eliminating racketeering activity. Racketeering is political or governmental or terrorist organizations or mafia corruption. Okay. Basically, the government did not have the resources that were necessary to crack down on these individuals that were racketeering. So private attorney generals came into effect, meaning they were asking the public to go ahead and help bring these people to justice. So what is a private attorney general? Well, the concept holds that a successful private party plaintiff is entitled to recovery of his legal expenses, attorney fees, and he has an advance policy inherent in public interest legislation on behalf of a significant class of person. A private citizen who commences a lawsuit to enforce a legal right that benefits the community as a whole. A private attorney general is a private citizen who brings a lawsuit considered to be in the public interest, benefiting the general public and community as a whole. The private attorney general concept holds that a successful private party plaintiff is entitled to recovery of his legal expenses, including attorney fees, if he has advance policy inherent in public interest and legislation on behalf of a significant class of purpose. So why am I bringing that up? Why is this important? Because under an Article 4 under the U.S. Republic, you need to defend yourself. Right now, there's a lot of solicitations. Solicitations, as Patrick Devine was describing it, is all of these peace officers who are extending you taxes when they pull you over and writing you a ticket for when there was no civil or criminal crime, or those little corruption cameras that they do to catch you, or putting you in prison for 20 years for smoking pot. You know, all of the things that do not affect the general society and only affect you, and you're allowed to privately operate however you want. As a private attorney general, you can not only defend yourself, but call out the corruption that is being abused on you or others. Okay. Now, what's the next thing? The next thing is, under an Article 4, when you're part of the U.S. Republic, after your status correction, your SPC, you now can operate as a bounty hunter. Okay. Which is a person who captures fugitives and criminals for monetary reward. In 1872, the Supreme Court ruled that bounty hunters were a part of the U.S. law enforcement system with a decision of Taylor versus Tainto. That was huge. Therefore, a federal government bounty hunter has superior executive authority based upon the constitutional state preambles of ownership and as a U.S. executive law enforcement agent per Article 2, Section 2, as a valid bounty hunter of your republic's state militia. And it is also addressed in Article 4, Section 2. Article 2, Section 2, really, if I was to summarize it, is basically the president of the United States saying that he has control over three major militias, okay? There's the Army, the Navy, and the state militia. Taylor versus Tainto allowed people to become bounty hunters into the state militia. Taylor versus Tainto was all about there was a huge amount of law and order issues. Basically, there were criminals all over the United States. The same way that RICO came about was the same reason why the bounty hunters came about. There wasn't enough government forces in order to capture all of these criminals that were running around the country. I'm talking high level about this. I'm not getting into too many details. But so basically they said, we give the power and authority of these United States Republic Article 4 citizens to be bounty hunters, to go across state lines to go capture fugitives that are wanted. So the federal government's putting up all these wanted. You ever seen the America's Most Wanted, man? Remember when you would drive around in your local neighborhood during 2001 and you just see Osama bin Laden's face on telephone poles? And you're like, yeah, he's the bad guy. That's him. I'm going to get him. And then what would you see? You would see the bounty on him. He'd be like, $200 million. I don't even know if they were real. I don't even know. But I remember seeing him, just Osama there, just like in his big beard and his turban. And he's like, yeah, I'll give you 200 million. And that's all I saw. But your bounty hunter, you could have gone and get those fugitives. You still can. So you have our U.S. The Supreme Court in 1872 gave you that ability to be a bounty hunter. Now, continuing on. At the bottom, it says, therefore, as a federal government badged Republic State Militia bounty hunter, you have the right to carry and concealed unlicensed guns and self-protective equipment. And you can order the sheriff or U.S. Marshal to arrest any foreign commercial state insurrection agent and seizure of any foreign commercial construction product, and claim a 10% as a federal government bounty hunter and up to 50% as a federal government prosecuting private attorney general of their foreign state commercial individual and corporate bail bonds, okay, in the name of unjust compensation. I'll get to that in a minute. Now, let me ask, how do you become a federal government bounty hunter and a federal government private attorney general? How do you become federally recognized as a bounty hunter and as a private attorney general? Who can tell me? How? How is it?
By invoking your
status
power,
correction.
declaring.
By doing your CP SPC?
Nope. Kinda.
It's
But
in,
no.
it's in the status correction paperwork, right?
No, how do you become federally recognized?
Oh, your passport?
Nope.
By sending it to the Secretary of State.
Oh, that's correct.
It's the EIN.
Okay.
Foreign Grantor Trusts.
It's the Foreign Grantor Trust, man. It's the Foreign Grantor Trust. This is why he put the Foreign Grantor Trust EIN on the badge. So now let's look at that. All right. Putting puzzle pieces together. See, he put the grantor Foreign Grantor Trust, EIN right here. Now, what's the second thing? Now he's federally recognized. What's the second thing you have to do to be recognized as a bounty hunter and a private attorney general?
Now it's status correction, notifying
Passport.
the agencies.
Simpler than that.
You trust?
Simpler than that. You have to
register with your county.
No, you have to invoke the laws of the republic. Invoke. What does invoke mean? What does invoke mean? What it means is generally to call upon, appeal to, or activate something, often to bring a rule, law, right, or power into effect. To invoke a right, law, or privilege means that you formally call upon or exercise that right. An example is he invoked his right to remain silent, meaning he called upon or used his legal right to remain silent. You need to invoke the laws of the republic in order to be recognized as a bounty hunter or a private attorney general. This is why Patrick Devine not only used the EIN number to get federal recognition, but he further invoked his rights by stating in his statement here that one, having a Republic Executive Banking Examiner's Authority. By the way, Executive Banking Examiner's Authority is merely just say that you have control over your contracts, because everything in commerce is banking. You live and operate in a foreign banking cartel credit system. Everything is banking, so you're a banking examiner. You're overlooking the contracts, okay? Based upon the constitutional preambles of ownership and being an 1872 Supreme Court validated U.S. law enforcement agency, basically the federal public executive powers of a bank owner, bounty hunter, and private attorney general are further confirmed in the National Bank Republic Constitution and the State Bank Republic Constitution per Article 2, Section 2, as a state militia in all of the Article 4 and the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 14th Amendments. I'm not going to go into all of those, but that's how he did it. So now you have the authority. The reason why he did a badge is because this is your badge of authority. You have authority as an Article 4 public system. You're the fourth branch of government. Does the executive, the legislative, and the judicial branch have power? Do they have authority? Do they have the federal government to back them up? You have the same. That's why he put it on his shield as a executive owner, bounty hunter, and private attorney general. And he had the Foreign Grantor Trust in there. Now, that's just one thing. Okay. Now this is, so now let me bring this thread here. So now you established a UCC contract trust through your SPC process, where the Foreign Grantor Trust is on file with the Treasury Department to show that you are in control of all your Treasury assets. Okay. That's your bank. Okay. That's your bank. That's your master account. Now, and you gave notification to the Treasury Department that you're operating in the Republic. You're using legal tender, gold and silver. Then you did the status correction, which we talk about. And in the status correction paperwork that we have a part of the Academy, we also mention the Foreign Grantor Trust. Okay? The Foreign Grantor Trust, again, is the same name as is with your SPC. There's a gold thread between the two documents. Then the thread of the status correction falls in line with your ID badge and your public proof of identification document. This is the physical representation of your status. Okay? This is the private representation of your status. There are 3 forms of identification in the United States: federal, state, and private. When you do status correction, you don't get only the federal recognition only through an EIN. That's not the only way you get federal recognition. When you do status correction, you have to federally notify, just like the Costco, that you're leaving the Costco. That's the State Department, the Department of the State, excuse me, for the whole country. And that's how your status gets updated on the passport. So now your federal status gets updated, you're federally recognized, and you have your private identification that matches your private status here. And for institutions that only recognize federal identification, you now have your status correction docs that embolden it. So when I go to a bank and hand them this, really what I'm doing is I'm handing my stack of status correction documentation. And the status correction on this is American National. Is an American National. The status on this card is not an American National, because there's no point in being redundant. Why would you be an American National here and also here? That makes no sense. That's why when I see other private guru go organize, yeah, I give you an American National ID. I'm like, what? Why? It's right here. Why do I need this then? You know, it just doesn't make sense. But what does make sense is that you have outlined on your ID. Let me see if I can hide my address here. What you have outlined on your ID, let the camera focus, is your Article 4 positions of power as bounty hunter, private attorney general, and executive officer, with your seals and all that, and all the language that's on here. This is how I'm operating. When I'm operating under the authority of a bounty hunter, I need this identification. When I'm operating under the authority of a private attorney general, I need this identification. When I'm operating under the authority of an executive officer or a banking examiner, I need this identification. That's when you use it. You can use it also as a form of identifying yourself, absolutely, but you mostly use it to the capacity of which you're going to be operating as a public Article 4 citizen. That's why it's not an American National ID, because who cares? Who cares? You're operating under your authority. That's why you do it. And your authority is outlined in the Foreign Grantor Trust. You're now outside the jurisdiction of the for-profit corporation, the banking cartel. You're into the U.S. Republic, and that's your assigned number for the U.S. Republic. You're federally recognized with that federal number. Your status correction reflects that Foreign Grantor Trust EIN as your identity. Your SPC holds all your banking credits with that identity. So now you have authority, position as an Article 4, status correction, which is really your medium to defend yourself, to show you're outside their jurisdiction, and you have your banking all into one. This is why I kept the thread, the gold thread of what Patrick was teaching all throughout the academy. I just modernized it because we're almost 10 years later. You know what I mean? There's a lot of information that's come out then, but his groundbreaking stuff was the key to the vault. There's just adding more to it, because there's a lot of great researchers in this movement that I have a lot of respect for, a lot. And I learned a lot. So that's that. Okay, so that's the Foreign Grantor Trust. Is there more? Sure, there could be more, but I think that's good for now. We'll go to questions. Questions.
Outstanding presentation.
Thank you, El. Appreciate it. Thank you. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. If you have not been a part of our private Facebook group and want to connect with others, I highly recommend doing that. If you want to be a part of Creditor Academy and the things that we went over today, go to creditoracademy.com and fill out the contact us form, or call our hotline number Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No questions. So that all made sense. Elle, let's go to you.
Okay, the IDs that we have, that we're invoking the Article 4, do we give everybody, when we give notice, a copy of this identification, or do we just give the proof of law identification when we're giving notice?
I'm glad you mentioned that. I have one more thing to add. That was very, very good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the last thing is that when you are invoking your rights, you not only need to give notification like to the Department of State, but you also need to register it and get public notification of it. The registered mail number is your private registration. Okay, this is your registration number of the rights that you invoked. In addition to that, you get it publicly recognized through a notary public. You get it notarized. So that's how you make this document official. Is not only do you give your print and signature and have your identifying information, but you get it publicly notarized and you get it privately registered. And this gives you now you're super official. And then you put it on the county recorder's record, and then you send it over to the State Department. That's what Patrick Devine did. So he's like, I gave you guys notification of my status and the rights that I'm invoking. I got it privately registered mail, so it's now registered, and I got a public notary to recognize it. That's very thorough. That's very, very thorough. So yeah, no, great question on that one.
Thank you.
No worries. All right. So a lot that we covered today. No doubt.
One more question. What about the badge? Do we give a copy of our badge too with notification, or that's not necessary?
Yeah, like what I did is, we provide a template like the one I showed. It's actually even, a little better organized, but yeah, there's a photo of the badge like you just saw. And then really we just put a line where you put your EIN number, because they just need to see the document. The document has the details, what's on the private ID, and it's got the details on the badge. So that's it right there.
Awesome.
No worries.
Amazing.
So a lot that we covered today. I'm excited what we're doing here at Creditor Academy, and I'm excited for the people that show up to the Academy for class. A lot of people are starting to get this and are starting to apply it. And we have 3 pillars of the Academy that we focus on, which is become private, which we talked a lot about today. That's the status correction, SPC, the ID and badge, all included. Our vendors, we ship it out to you. We put all the documentation together, but it's more than just a template. You guys have more templates than you know what to do with. What you need to know is how to use it. You need to know how to use it. So that's what we explain in pillar 1. The second pillar is operate privately. That's great that you know how to utilize a trust and set it up over for your SPC. Now, how do you use many different trusts in order to protect yourself? And how do you connect all your other private entities to your master account? Because you want separation. When also in operate privately, we talk about real estate. We talk about private associations and so much more. You need to know how to operate privately. Then in the third pillar, that is build unlimited private credit. How to apply your unlimited credit to these private entities so then you have separation of liability. You have separation of liability. It's kind of like me when I went to take out a bunch of personal credit cards and I kept on swiping it up because, I was in college and just needed to pay for things. The amount of debt that I incurred and the amount of liability that was on me because it was all in my name affected how I was able to purchase new properties and all that. So, yeah, it's difficult. But when you have private entities, even if you make a mistake or maybe you make a wrong investment, that happens. It shouldn't be affecting you the rest of your life. Especially, think about it. It's fake money. It's monopoly money. Monopoly money affecting you for the rest of your life, your quality of life. You're a spirit. You're a child of God, and having a fake amount of money system affect your quality of life and what you can provide to your children based off of what something says on a computer screen, you're a lot more unlimited than that. If you've come to our channel and you like what you're hearing, you can join our academy and become a freshman masterclass member and learn more and see us Monday through Friday to learn more. But if you are also just searching channels, and if this sounds like you, where you just need remedy now, Paul Michael, I like it. I appreciate the academy. I appreciate the education that you're giving. But my bills are due next week. I'm going to be homeless. I don't have a vehicle to get to work. I can't even put food on the table for my family. I just want remedy. Tell me what to do and what paperwork I need to fill out for me to be able to have some breathing room in my life. It's not that, and I get that, because it's not that you don't want to have education. It's just that you need immediate remedy right now. We deal with that first. Okay. Creditor Academy, we do credit. Well, we get your credit back into place. A lot of people who come to Creditor Academy, you don't have money problems, you have credit problems. So how we deal with that is we take your credit. If it's bad credit score, you have a bunch of bankruptcies, you have late credit card payments, you have foreclosures, you have student loans, and we deal with that first and foremost. Because when you go to a bank and you're asking for money to help yourself in life, that's what they look at. They look at your credit score. So we do credit restoration in order for you to get the breathing room and the finances that you need just to keep your head above water. If that sounds like you and you want this immediate relief now, you go to creditoracademy.com and fill out the contact us form, and a representative will reach you soon during our hours of operation. So with all that being said, thank you everybody for joining us today. We are about to start the after hours here at Creditor Academy. If you would like to join the after hours, where I'm live in front of an audience right now, and you would like to join this audience, you can go to creditoracademy.com and go to our homepage, and you'll see a Tuesday and Thursday link, and it says join now. As soon as you click the join now, you will be here live with me. Instead of being live on YouTube, you can be live here with me, and you can converse and talk to the many great people that are here in my live performances. My performances are every Tuesday and Thursday, or presentations, I should say. So we would look forward to having you join us. But until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, YouTube. Bye-bye. Oh, I hit the right button that time. It's the after hour.